Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's training on Pastel Partner and Evolution Conversion with Palladium Accounting. My name is Uyanda, and I will be taking you through today's training. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen as well as hear me? You can make use of the chat box, or you may unmute yourself before we start. Given that there is no negative response, I will continue with the training. So today we're going to be going through the Pastel Partner Conversion with Palladium Accounting. The first step to the Pastel Partner Conversion is to have your pervasive PCC, which is Pervasive Control Center, which is where you will basically restore your backup, your Pastel backup. You will restore, all right, Doris. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, perfect. So,
Thank you.
Pleasure. So the first step is to have your PCC, which is where you will restore your Pastel backup onto the control center. So it's similar to SSMS on the Palladium side. So the first step is to go to Tools and then go to ODBC Administrator. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna. All right, so the first step is to go to Tools, ODBC Administrator. Then you go to Systems, DSN, and that is where you'll then click on Add. You'll scroll down to Pervasive ODBC Engine Interface and click on Finish. Now we're going to create the data source name. So you'll go to Create, and we'll call it Conversion. Then you'll click on Add. This is where you will now attach your backup. So once you click on Add, the screen will pop up. You'll click on the red dots, and then wherever you have stored your backup, you'll find your backup and attach it to the PC. So I saved mine under Pastel Partner Conversion, New, Amber Boards. And there we have the backup added onto the data file location. You'll then click on you'll attach the file again under your dictionary location. Then you'll click on OK. Once that's been created, then you'll scroll down. Then you should okay, can you please hold for me? My apologies, I was just struggling with the screen sharing. Okay, yes, I had muted myself, Doris. Can you hear me now? Okay, so now that we've attached the backup, we called it conversion 1. And
Yes,
that's
I can hear you now.
the database name. So then we'll call it conversion, and then we'll click on test to test the connection. And the connection is successful, meaning that the backup is successfully restored. You'll click on OK, then we'll click on OK. And then we'll click on OK again. And then if you click on the engines and you click on refresh, you'll notice that we have the conversion 1 database restored under the engine. So once you've restored your backup on PCC, sorry about that, you'll then move to Palladium, where you'll now create your new company for the conversion. So I'm going to share Palladium. You'll then open your Palladium, and now we're going to create a new company. So we'll call the new company conversion 1 as well. Okay, so now we're going to set up the company. We're going to call it conversion 1 again. Then you can add all the details of the company that you'll be creating. The financial year, you can set it up over here. Please make sure that the financial year of your pastel backup corresponds with the financial year that you will be setting up when creating your Palladium company. Any delivery locations that you want to add, you can add, and any logos you want to add, you can add. One of the important things that you need to add when creating the company is the country. So I'm going to add South Africa. I'm going to click on OK. The system will tell you that you cannot change the country selection once you've selected. You click on OK, and then the system will prompt you to, excuse me, to now select your currency. So we are going to click on new, and our currency is South African Rand. And we'll click on OK, and now we're going to set up our GL segments. So you go to manual setup. After you click manual setup, you go to user defined financial categories, then you'll click on pastel partner default financial categories. You'll notice that the system will then default the account legends to the same as the ones that are on the pastel partner. You'll click on OK. Then you will create the segments that you would like to have on your company. You can have 1 to 10 segments. In this case, we'll have 2. We'll call the second segment sub account number, and we will make it in numeric. with a total of 4 characters. And the system will give you a preview of how your accounts will look when you create them on Palladium. There we now have the company created on Palladium. You'll see conversion 1 is the name of the company. Now we go to the control panel where we will find the data conversion tool, which is what we will be using to extract data from PCC into Palladium and basically complete the conversion. So we'll start with the data extractor. This is basically to bring in all of the information from PCC into the sort of server management of Palladium. So you'll click on all of the data that you'd like to import and extract from PCC. Then you'll click on next. The system will tell you all of okay. My apologies about that. The first step is to use your data importer utility. That is the function where you will bring in all of your information that you'll bring from PCC into Palladium. You'll then select the company that was restored. You'll then test the connection between the Pestle PCC as well as Palladium. You'll test the connection by selecting the database source name and the connection type. You'll notice the system will say connection successful. And then the system will just basically warn you if your Pestle database is in a prior version, then the database will need to be upgraded to version 11 or a later version. Would you like to continue? Then you'll click on OK. The system will bring up all of the information that you need to basically import from PCC. You'll click on transfer, and the system will then bring in all of the information that is from the backup that we restored on PCC. So now you just wait for the system to bring in all of the information. Great. So once the system has imported all of your data, then you'll notice that the OK button will not be grayed out. You'll click on OK. And then you move to your data extractor utility, which is basically going to bring in all of the information from Pastel into Palladium. You'll then select all of the information you want to bring in. And then you'll click on Next. It'll give you all of the information that the system has imported from PCC into now the server for Palladium, and now it is actually going to put it into the software, which is Palladium. You'll click on Next, and then it's basically going to tell you all of the information that was on PCC will be basically imported. Then you'll click on Yes. It will prompt you about the different financial year. So I selected an incorrect financial year compared to the financial year which is on Pastel. You can continue, or you can choose to go back and create a new company with the relevant financial year. In this case, we will continue. Now we are going to map all of the accounts that are in the Pastel backup with the accounts that are in Palladium. So you'll have a look at the first one is a supplier control account, which is under accounts payable. So accounts payable in this case is a liability. The system, based off of the similarities of the account class, the system will populate whatever you select throughout all of the columns that are similar to the one that you are working on. Then you'll select your account class, in this case, accounts payable. You'll select accounts payable, the system will populate it as well. Your accounts receivable is an asset, and you'll then select accounts receivable. And so it goes on. Your bank is an asset. You'll then select bank. Cost of sales are expenses. And then you'll select cost of goods sold. These are then normal expenses. We also have normal expenses on this side. And assets, you'll select your fixed assets. Inventory. Your investments, you select your investments. Long-term borrowings are called long-term debts. So based off of the account class in Pastel, you can then select the account class here in Palladium. Other current assets, you can either choose current assets or just normal assets. Other assets or normal assets. We'll just select other assets for argument's sake. Current liabilities. Again, we'll just select other payables, sorry. Other fixed assets, so we only have fixed assets, so we'll then classify it as fixed asset. Other income is revenue. We also have other revenue for other income. Other long-term liabilities, you'll select your liability, and a long-term debt. Retained income is your equity. And we have it as retained earnings. Sales will be your revenue. Then you'll then select revenue. Then we have share capital, which is equity. And there we have share capital as well. Shareholders loan. I think this depends on how you would like to classify it. I believe it would be partners withdrawals. And once you're happy with all of the mappings of the different accounts, then you can click on Next. Next, you will map your tax codes. So these are the tax codes that are in Palladium, and these are the tax codes that are in the backup. So the first tax code that we will map is a no tax, which is probably 0 rated in this case. For your sales and your purchases, we'll select the same code. Standard rate, in this case, Palladium standard rate for sales, we will choose number 3. For purchases, we will choose number 4. 14%, we'll just choose number 3 again, then we'll choose number 4 again. Again, it is up to how you would like to account for the different tax codes and have them on the system. Support can also assist you with how you would like to map your tax codes, again, depending on how you'd like to account for them. So we'll select 0 rated there again, 0 rated, and exempt from that, and exempt from that. Once you're done with that, you can then also verify your different control accounts for your VAT, which for your sales and for your purchases. You can change that if you're not happy with it. You can choose from the different accounts. We'll leave it as the VAT control account. Then you'll click on next, and this is where you will then map your payment terms. These are the payment terms that were in the backup, payment term 0 and payment term 1. For argument's sake, we will map them as 30 days from invoice and end of following month calendar. And now we are going to map the different account sets for your different services and inventory items. So for your assets, we can select inventory control, and then we'll just select cost of sales for services. Excuse me. You'll then also assign the unassigned account set. You'll then select the revenue account that you want to be affected should you transact with any item linked to this account set. And then you can select any expense account for this account set. Again, it is up to the client how they would like to account for the different account sets for the asset leg, the revenue, the expense, and the variance. You can select whichever account for your inventory items and then for your service items. Sorry, service account sets, yes. Any projects and job costings that were on the pastel backup will appear here on the screen, and then you can map them accordingly. Then this is just a preview of your customer master file, everything that is relating to the customer, should you want to edit it. Excuse me. You can edit it on this screen. Any tax code you want to change, any payment term you want to change, any category or any other currency. If you do have additional currencies created on the database, then you can, the drop down will be here. You can change the currency. Then you click on next. This will be for your vendors. Same applies for your vendors. Anything you'd like to change, you can change on this screen. Next is your inventory items. Any account sets that you'd like to map, you can map on the screen. If the next button is grayed out, it means that there are items that do not have account sets mapped. So you'll scroll right to the bottom. So items are all mapped, then you move to services. So you'll notice that there was this service that does not have an account set. Once you've mapped it, you'll notice the next button is not grayed out anymore. Any salespersons, this will show you all of the salespersons of the backup. Click on next. And then the next step would be to import your master files. You'll click on import, and the system will bring in all of the information from Pastel. You'll click on next. Then you can verify your supplier control account and your customer control accounts, as well as your linked accounts that you would like to link. You can link the accounts on the screen as well. Then you can import your customer history, which is all of the invoices that relate to the customer. You click on import, the system will bring in all of the information. Click on next. Any vendor invoices as well, which is the history of balances. You click on import, the system will bring in all of the information. Then you'll click on next, will bring in balances. Then you'll select which balances you want to bring in. any open sales orders, you'll click on import, and the system will give you all of the information relating to opening sales orders, open sales. Once that is done, all of the information will be imported. You'll click on save. Then the utility saved data is not required for the conversion has been completed. Would you like to remove the utility saved data, which is the data that is from Pastel? Because you've imported it into Palladium, you can then remove it. We'll click on yes. After that, the system will bring up your data integrity with all of the information that you've imported, from your locations to your balances. And basically, you now have a fully created company from a Pastel partner backup using the Pastel partner in evolution conversion tool on Palladium. All right, so that is in a nutshell how you would see through your Pastel partner conversion. I hope it was understandable and helpful to everyone in the training session. I'm going to open the floor to any questions that any of the participants may have. You can make use of your mic, or you can send a message in the chat box. Thank you for your feedback, Jacques, and I wish you all the best with your conversion. Please do feel free to email support@Palladium should you need any assistance or run into any problems with your conversion. No problem, Doris. You can send an email to training@palladium.co.za requesting for today's training video, and then they will send it through to you. Only a pleasure, Doris. Once you definitely do it more than once, it definitely becomes easier to import the data from Pastel. So you'll get a hang of it. Don't worry, Doris. You will. All right, guys. I think in the absence of any other questions, I want to thank you guys for joining today's training. I hope you guys enjoyed it and it was informative for everybody. Thank you for your time, and please do join us again on the next training with Palladium Accounting. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon or day, evening, depending on where you are. And thank you again.
Thank you very much. It's quite educative. Thank you.
Thank you for your feedback, Doris. Thank you. Thanks, guys.